Welcome everyone to the My Local CFO Business Town Hall Series. Today is Tech Tuesday, and I'm super excited to come and bring to you a person who is near and dear to my heart, Miss Kenyatta Powers. Now, I went all the way to Maryland for this one. She is the Chief Information Officer for the Department of Human Services for the state of Maryland. So I wanted to bring you someone who is living, breathing, and knows what's going on, not just on a small level, but on a statewide level, which means that she's got a lot of things under her belt. Let me just tell you a little bit about her and a little bit about why we are here today. So Kenyatta Powers has served for about over 20 years with DHS. And she has served in budgets that are annual budgets of $50 million and served over 760,000. That's a lot. I think she knows some of her stuff. I think she knows what she's talking about. And that's 760,000 of Maryland's most vulnerable citizens. Let me tell you why I also wanted to talk to her, because I follow Kenyatta Powers, and she is an advocate for women and minorities and youth when it deals with technology. A big piece of what's missing, a big piece who you don't really see in technology. I know that Kenyatta is an anomaly in a lot of places that she walks in when she's dealing in technology. She serves on amazing boards that are pushing things forward. And, the Executive Information Technology Advisory Boards, as well as a leader in ministry. So she is community oriented. Not only that, she has worked on projects that went straight to their mayor. So their governor. So let me just say this to you. We're going to have a good time today. We're bringing you this business town hall series because we know that as business owners, as people, we're people first. And a lot of times we like to separate who we are from our business. And I realized that I'm a business owner and I'm also a CFO. Now, I operate and I come to you a lot of times from the financial aspects of things, but I never come to you from the business owner aspects of things. And one of the things that we have to realize and think about is technology in our business, because at the end of the day, it goes to our bottom line. If we have a misstep, if someone takes over our servers and systems, if we have staff that's just not doing what they should do and our information is at risk, that can affect our bottom line in so many ways. So I wanted to bring Kenyatta Powers on today and have a little talk. So we're talking today about friending technology to live and grow. And Kenyatta, I just want to throw this ball right at you right now and tell us why technology is important in our lives today. A lot of us have been thrown into technology in ways that we had never imagined to be, and businesses are having to be flexible and nimble and really ramp up on technology in today's times. But why is technology a place that we need to friend as we live and grow?
Well, first I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for having me. I certainly, definitely appreciate you having me here. It is a blessing to be a part of this series, your town hall series. So yes, technology. Oh, wow. So, and being in technology for so long, it comes as a natural to me to a certain degree, but I understand that there are a lot that's really not used to it. And I think now, and being in this day and age now with us being stay at home, is that we've had to get a lot more acquainted to it than some of us in the norm. So we're having to, the businesses especially, of having to more so things on social media or being able to do things in a different way than what they're used to doing them. So it is one of those, if I only had a thought about it, if I only had did a little more in advance, I might be a little more prepared for where we are today at this stay-at-home measure. I think about a lot of the restaurants and a lot of the different companies and businesses now that are kind of struggling. And a lot of it is dealing, of course, with not having the people be able to come in. But there are a lot of businesses that are thriving right now because of them being prepared for something like this. So there are businesses that's being able to do the carry out, and I know it's unfortunate. There were several businesses around my area that just essentially closed, and it's like, look, I can't handle it. I'm not prepared. I'm not in a position to be able to walk out orders or what have you to curbside or let people in. I'm just not prepared for it. But then there are some of those companies that, okay, I might not be prepared, but what I might be on the cusp. So let me see what I need to do to be able to get there. And then of course there are those that were just, okay, this is just business as usual for me. So let me just ramp it up a little bit and be able to go from there. I think that as we relate to old school cash registers and old school being able to take payments and things of that nature, and not being able to do things online, and not being able to have I'll say our Grub Hubs and our Door Dashes and things of that nature has been a struggle for a lot. And even those that don't currently have online purchases, you know, so now online purchases is really one of the big things that now that's the only way to do business nowadays for those that don't have the restaurant drop-ins. But if we weren't already prepared for those online purchases, or our systems weren't prepared and not capable for those online purchases, it's been a bit of a struggle for us. So it really tells us how important technology is today, especially as it was compared to 10 years ago. Could we imagine right now today being the stay-at-home age and not having the technology that we have? We wouldn't. What is that level of communication that we'd have with our families, we'd have with businesses, that we have with each other, we'd have with actually work itself? I honestly feel like I'm more in communication with my team now than I was when we were seeing each other on a day-to-day. So technology has definitely played a major role in us being able to move forward in this stay-at-home era right now.
So you make some very good points. You know, so I've lived between LA and North Carolina, and LA, I got used to ordering groceries, ordering a car. I mean, just ordering from my phone was it. If it died, I could not exist. I could not live. So I understand I could not imagine, but being in North Carolina, it's a different pace, you know? And so for the first time, probably a couple months ago, end of last year, I ordered groceries. My husband used to go to the grocery store, and I ordered groceries, and I thought he was just he panicked the whole time. And he had to learn all about the life of the person who delivered us groceries, and, you know, was just excited. It was so fun. It was so funny and fun. But rewind to today, and last week we ordered groceries online, you know, and it was a hassle of going out. Is just so much now, even for a regular necessity, to put on the mask and to put on the gloves and to wipe everything down, and just all the things that happen, that have the luxury of kind of doing something on your phone really quick, paying, and you actually, with technology, if I even take it away from groceries, you know, the hour, 2 hours, or 2 days now it seems like it takes for the groceries to be delivered, you're getting so much done in the process. So technology has its advantages of really just giving back some of our time to us. Can you talk about that a little bit, and what that does for us from an efficiency standpoint?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. So I usually have, and I'll say that this is my first time doing the whole online purchasing as it relates to groceries. And I absolutely love it. I'm like, why in the world was I not doing this all along? It's the best thing ever. Somebody picks out your groceries and they just deliver them to your car. You just go pick them up. And in our options, they'll even deliver them to you. I'm like, where have I been? Why have I not been doing this? I mean, it's free.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't an additional cost. It was free. And I save money because I'm not picking up stuff in the grocery store I don't have any business picking up. So it has definitely been an eye-opener for me of some of what technology is now really offering us today. So, but yeah, I think that I guess I can relate it to right now of where I am with work and how a lot of different things are changing today, and how we're able to focus on technology to help us in areas in which we never even thought that we could do on a big scale. A big scale. Of course, we always work from home occasionally. You do the occasional work from home, but I never had the whole office. I am now, I'll say 99.5%. My entire team of over 100 people is teleworking, right? They're able to telework. And I think a lot of that, and I can go into to more of that, but it allows us now to be able to focus on certain things more so than others. It allows me to be able to stay, and it's not as if that technology wasn't always there. I just never used it. I never used it to the capability that it is today. We have the online chat that's open all day long, right? We have the web conferences and stuff that can be open where, because I have so many staff, I have to having all these one-on-ones, it can be very, very, very time consuming. So, but we're using technology in ways that we never even thought to use it before. So, and I work for the Department of Human Services. So we actually provide benefits for Marylanders. We provide EBT and child support, adult protective services, child protective services, SNAP and TANF, food stamps. Those types of things is where we provide benefits. So you can imagine that we are extremely busy right now. Applications have tripled than what they were before stay at home. So it became even more prevalent for us to ensure that our caseworkers and social workers were able to work from home. And so beforehand, it was like, have a caseworker work from home. They have to see clients all the time, and they have to do interviews, and they have to do this, and they have to do that. And so they never had laptops. They all had desktops. Because it was essential for them to be in the office to be able to handle users individually. Of course, we had ways that we had, electronic applications, and certain things could be waived for certain areas of not having to come into the office. But there was still a lot of reasons to have to come into the office. So when they don't have that laptops, it became, this rush mass of trying to get everybody laptops. And that's what I'm actually in the midst of right now. And I'm realizing that there are a lot of people that never really use laptops. So now is that age of making sure I have to put out laptop instructions. So the basic use of laptops to say, this is how, of course, turn it on and all that, we have that, but how to get the wireless active and, and things that some things are so with the new stuff, it's so prevalent now, you just, click a button here. But anyway, there was a lot of different things that we had to really teach the users of the technology that we had that we never used, and which now that they have to use today. So that's probably our biggest thing now, is making sure that we have about 7,000 caseworkers and social service workers, and to getting everyone to be teleworking 100% has been a struggle to get everybody laptops, and then to get them acquainted to used to the laptops. So now you said you're putting out instructions. Is that video instructions as well as written instructions on certain things, or is that you're having a telephone call or web conferencing call? How is that happening? So the instructions is both. We actually have the written, because there are a lot that like to see it in front of them. And then there are those that the video, just give me step by step, I'm gonna follow this video step by step to do it. So we have both. For most cases, we have both types of learning. And that's where our training has become a bigger, I'll say it's become a big deal now too, while we're teleworking, because we're in the midst of implementing new things, and now we still have to train for it. But we have, I would say DHS has a lot of people that are able to retire. And so they're used to a certain way. And this is, I'm not really even for another way of trying to learn. Just give me what I know. And so that's become even more of a struggle now that with teleworking. And I know that, we have a batch of laptops coming in this week. I got another batch of laptops coming in next week. And so I know it's going to be more of a struggle to try to, get everyone used to it and acclimated, and so then they have to log in securely. We have to have our access to be able to log in secure. So it is a training process for those that have never done it before. Not as if the technology wasn't there. It's just that there are some set of workers that never had to do it before, and it's become a bit challenging.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some other stuff, but before we get there, I got some other questions to ask you in this,
Sure.
because I know that there's a lot of businesses who are dealing with this piece, right? They everybody came in the office for the most part. If you work from home, maybe, there may be a little tablet or a laptop you could take and work from home if something happened or you were out for a few days or something. But for the most part, you had your desktops in the office, and everything was secure in the office. There were servers and firewalls and all these other things that happen inside the office. So for the company, for the most part, things are secure, they're safe, they're not worried about it, they've got it covered.
Right.
Now, fast forward to now where we're having to buy the laptop. So one, figuring out what type of laptop is best for
Yes.
the workers, right?
Yes.
And then number two, then you can't just send it to them. There's certain things that need to happen to the laptop before they actually get it. And then there's other security measures that everyone needs to be trained on, or policies that weren't there before that need to be put into place. Can you just talk just a little bit about kind of that piece of things on the back end?
Yes, absolutely. So I would say the biggest piece that I would encourage everyone to do would be standardizations when it comes to equipment, because that's what helped us to be able to even know what laptops to buy. We know that there is standard specifications that we needed for each laptop. So we had that kind of squared away. We knew in advance. We always keep our specifications updated enough to know if anybody, we got 7,000 users, somebody's always needing something, right? So if anybody needed to buy anything, this is the type of, I'm not telling you to go get a Dell or go get a HP. This is the requirements of the laptop that it needs to have. So we had that squared away, thank God, because we really would have been in trouble if we didn't. So we knew what to buy, but yes, it also meant that we had to have a special configuration because they were going home and they weren't going to be in the office. And a lot of time the laptops are in and out. So before we gave laptops to those that did do work at home or did need to go visit a home and visit kids. And so those people had laptops already. But the subset that didn't, we had to make sure that the security measures were in place, that they understood what those security measures were that were in place to ensure that we did not go outside of our security protocols. Now, keep in mind, we work for the state. I have IRS regulations, I have state regulations, federal regulations, all different types of policies and regulations that, regardless of whether you are in the office or not in the office, that you have to adhere to. So we have our virtual, we call it VPN, our virtual private network, in which when you're at home, in which they log into so that they can be able to access the systems that the DHS systems. So, and there's only a specific way that you can do that. And so that is what put our security protocols in place, that only specific users with specific access can access our systems remotely. And so one of the other big things that I also would recommend is remote desktop. So remote desktop meaning two ways. One is users may be able to remote into their desktop from whatever equipment they have at home to remote into their PC that is in the office. And it gives you that same level of flexibility that you would use when you're in the office. And then there's that remote desktop that helps me as a techie to, if you're having issues, I can remote into your laptop or your desktop to help you, to assist you for whatever issues that you may have. So remote desktop is definitely, and there's so many different flavors of it, but the remote desktop is definitely a huge help. And in this stay-at-home era of being able to support your users, as well as your users still being able to access anything that they could be able to access when they were in the office. So it's definitely a whole lot of different protocols that had to be put in place for that.
Right. because you just talked about something that I think that we don't think about. So we think about, okay, everybody needs to get a laptop, and we need to make sure the laptop's secure. The VPN acts as a firewall. Is that what you're saying? To be
Correct.
able to access the stuff that's in the office, maybe on the server or different things like
Yes.
that, to log in. And then the remote access, we think, oh, if I get a new laptop, there's nothing on it.
Right,
Right?
right.
Like it's a brand new laptop. So being able to remote into the desktop allows me to use a laptop at home, but be able to be on the desktop at work as if I was sitting at the desk at work. So I can get to everything I need, download anything that I need, upload or whatever else that I need.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that remote desktop definitely helps tremendously.
Yeah.
Um, with being able to still do the same job you were able to do while you're sitting at home.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, we are partners with, oh no, you're fine.
Sorry.
This is what you call quarantine working at home.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah.
But so we partner with CEOs to work with them from the financial standpoint, and we definitely use remote login so that we're
Mm-hmm.
not having to go, because we work with clients that are all over the US. So we can't necessarily walk into every single business. And so being
Right.
able to get on their desktop sometime from a financial standpoint, things of that nature, when they don't know what's going on, or some people have QuickBooks Desktop where it's not cloud based, or other
Yeah.
desktop systems that are not cloud based. And that's another reason why you would need remote login, because cloud based systems are great, but depending on your industry, depending on what you're doing, everything can't be cloud based.
Right.
Some
Yep.
things need to be on the desktop. It needs to take up more room and be a little bit more robust. And the remote login works in there. Those are very great suggestions and ideas. Okay, so now let's move it to, we're home. We have the materials. What are some things that we should be thinking about as business owners are moving to the laptops, putting the security on, making sure they have better firewalls, VPNs, remote logins, things of that nature. And like you said, there's different flavor for everybody. You can find all kinds of apps and stuff that do those things. What then are the protocols for the people who are working at home, like in regards to their internet, in regards to security of the information and those types of things? What are you telling them once they get the laptops and they're working from home?
So for the most part, we do anything that is super confidential is behind that firewall per se, right? But even from a day-to-day basis, from security, it's always important. Everybody use their Wi-Fi at home, their Comcast, their Xfinity, their Verizon, and how secure is your Wi-Fi at home? And this is even outside of teleworking, but thinking about if you're having any confidential data, right? First, we have this about keeping confidential data that only should be seen or done out inside the firewall, and nothing downloaded or anything like that to desktops locally printed, anything of that nature when you're working from home. So, and we have certain protocols behind that about what we can and cannot do. But even on a day-to-day basis, accessing your banking information, putting in your credit card for anywhere. I know when we see when we're in a website, and we see the little lock in the corner, and that is, specifies the secure. But even to me, when you're on your home Wi-Fi, how secure is your password? How secure is your Wi-Fi? Can you tell if other people outside of your home or anybody is using your Wi-Fi? Regardless, I think those are different protocols that have to be thought about, put in place, or to consider at any given time. But I would say for some of the tools and all that we use, I don't know if we know some of the tools that we may download, or apps that we download, still sometimes can bring unwanted access, right? So it is, to me, and this is why I tell my users all the time, you know, being that now that we do have to interview people, we do have to have these conversations. Any tool that you use Facebook Messenger, you use FaceTime, we have no control over any of that after it's said and done. That data now belongs to Facebook. So who knows what's happening with it, you know? So I always encourage anything on Zoom, anything on Slack, anything on anything at this point is subject to being anywhere you may not want it to be. So it's always and best practice to practice safety and what you talk about that's confidential or not, your social security numbers, whatever the case may be, birthdays, you know, it's very important not to have a lot of those discussions as you're using these tools, and being able to put that type of information, even plugging into these tools, because at the end of the day, we have no idea where that data is going. It doesn't belong to us. You hit enter, you hit send, it's done, and it belongs to whatever that app has. And so it's always been a huge concern. So right now, you know, we have different, you know, dealing with the state, we have different outside entities that we have to deal with, and, you know, they want to use a lot of different protocols. So I actually put together my team, my team put together a communications guide that gives guidance on the different tools to use, when to use, and like use the link that someone sends you as opposed to, and it's a link to access it, not necessarily a link to download anything. So there's a difference of a link to access something than to actually put something installed on your iPad or your laptop. So we try to provide guidance in certain ways, and we have to be specific about the guidance because of the security protocols we do have to adhere to. But yeah, so there's everybody wants to use every and anything, and then you have the different outside entities that say, I use this, so now you have to use this. But yeah, okay, you can use it, but you only can do this and you only can do that. And it has to kind of be segmented to make sure that that we're still following security. And the thing is, now that we are staying at home and everybody's using a lot more of it, the free conference calls, not free. No, indeed. I mean, I was using one for my family reunion committees that I'm on, and man, it was busy. You couldn't get in. It was just like, yeah, we just can't. We're not going to be able to do that. But you know, those are those free things. You no idea where that data or where any of that information is going. Yeah.
That's definitely a good point. Yeah, they quickly became you got to pay something if you really want the quality because they got inundated so fast. Even with Zoom, you know, they had the Zoom hacking and all the stuff that was happening with that. So let's just talk about a little bit about security measures then, because I know people are saying, well, how do I make sure I have security measures in place? So I know that your internet at home, don't use the password that's on your router. Create a new password for that, right? Because I learned that it's a manufactured router with a password that was given, and a lot of times those can be Googled and found out and easily hacked. So just changing the password but not making it something like my last name is James, not making it James Family or James.
Yes, exactly. Or your phone number.
Okay. Tell us some things that we could do as we're looking to make things secure at home. You know, some of the things that we need to think about. And you gave us some good things about not clicking on this, not downloading things, but clicking on things that allow you to go straight to the application. But what are some other secure things that we can do for ourselves, we can do for the kids, or even for the spouse that may or sometimes may not be like a kid? But we won't go there. That's not this.
There are a few things, and I would say, as even to relate to the whole password, is that we have to think of something creative, the whole password, about, you know, writing it down and that sort of thing. And I kind of get that to a certain degree, but we also want to think about something that's not so rememberable, that someone on the outside could remember, like using a phrase or a scripture or something like that, you know, you could easily remember, your family could easily remember. Whatever that your provider gives you, change it and make sure that it's not, I know a lot of times it's using the phone number, So my suggestion would definitely be to use something that would be inclusive to you and your family to remember.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the kids, we always have, and now that they're probably on the internet a whole lot more than what they used to be now, is with the schools, and even as the schools even have certain tools that they're telling the kids to use. But it is the difference of a link versus an app, but it's also from a parental standpoint, is it where you um, can have certain sites that you don't want them to go to blocked, or
Mm-hmm.
certain
Mm-hmm.
apps that they're trying to download, and you can be notified if those apps are being, anytime an app is downloaded, it can be notified for. So there's different providers that provide different levels of ways that you can make the parental process, I guess, easier, so that we'll understand and know what to download, what not to download, or at least to know even when something is downloaded that you might want to know about. And that may even be the case for husband or wife, that that sometimes it's just clicking on stuff. Oh, let's see what this is. Because I'll give Facebook Messenger is a perfect example. Is a lot of people send videos, they send these things, and they may even be doing it just for fun and entertainment or what have you. But a lot of those videos contain viruses, and that's how they can actually get access to your information from those videos. So I get them all the time, and I never click on anything unless I have verified with the user, the sender, that they sent it to me, right? Because and then people can access other people's accounts and send you stuff, and you think it's they ghosted the account, and you think it's from them, and it's really not. Or somebody was able to access somebody else's account and send you stuff, and it's not. And all you have to do is click on that link, and they have gotten access into to all of your information. And I guess to think about it in that nature, it also goes to the to receiving a link for some of these meetings. Make sure you know who the sender is. So if it's an unknown sender, and join this meeting, no, don't join that meeting unless don't click that link unless you know for sure of who that sender is. And that's for anything. And that's probably one of the biggest ways that that people are able to access our information. Just the unknown, okay, it looks interesting, it looks like something I'd want to see. And I have to say, it happened to me once. And said, see this photo of you from this weekend, and I'm looking like, a photo of me from this weekend. Oh, I clicked on that thing with the quickness. And I learned, someone told me that, oh, I got an email from you, or I got this message from you. And so I was like, that must have been it. So you have to go in and change your password. I have my email, my Facebook, all of that. I had to go, and this was years ago, but it taught me a lesson then. Is any of these things that think you might get your attention and you don't know who it's from, please don't click on it.
So it can happen. It definitely can happen to anybody, right?
Yeah,
if the right message comes across, it can tempt you to push that button.
Yes.
But you said something. So if it does happen to you, then you want to make sure that you're changing everything so that they no longer have the access. Is what I'm hearing from you.
Yes.
Wonderful. So now I cannot let you go. We're coming close to time, but I cannot let you go without one, saying thank you. I want to say to our participants, if you have any questions, there's a chat function. Just put in the chat, and we'll definitely get to that. But I want to talk a little bit. You've given us some really good things to think about. Thank you so much. From a business perspective, from being an at-home perspective, from the leadership perspective and operations, to the end user or person. A couple things. Now, I'm going to transition a little bit, but before I do, I want to ask you this. Laptops at home with the personnel, with the staff, and kids or spouse using the laptops. Because we know that, like you said, in some homes, they didn't have the technology, or they didn't have, they had old technology.
Old technology, yeah.
So now they get this brand new thing. What parameters, or what do you guys put around that? And then I want to talk about women and minorities and kids in tech.
So the biggest thing would be virus protection. If you're buying a laptop of regardless, it's home, it's work, or what have you, it's virus protection. Norton or Symantec or McAfee, and a lot of times we avoid that to say it's a monthly fee, whatever the case may be. No, I'm not doing that. That is important to do, because even if you are to click on that link, those virus protections should be able to still help you anyway, or find it, that virus that may have been, you may have released. Those virus protection software packages can help you, and they don't automatically come with the laptop. So that is something that you have to consider separately, that you'd have to definitely ensure that you have the right protocols in place. And it doesn't scan on it every day, every other day, every hour. You can kind of scan it how often you ever want to scan the laptop for subjected viruses. But that to me would probably be the biggest thing. And that's before we do anything and put anything on the internet at all, it has to have virus protection. That is the biggest. You know, we also use things we have our products that we use for we're in a Windows 10, we're a Windows-based operation, so we use Windows 10 and the Microsoft products and stuff that we use for being able to communicate with our Office suite and things of that nature. So that's always a big thing for us. But for our laptops, we always have, I'm going to call it our low jack, so that if it's lost or stolen, it can be tracked. So we have a low jack on all of our laptops, and we don't let them leave the building without having that low jack. And so the company that we use, they, and I call it a low jack, that's pretty essentially what it seems to me. So the company, if they can't locate it, then they refund us with the money of the laptop. So if it's lost or stolen or anything, you got to put it in a police report and on all of that stuff. But it has helped us tremendously to track down equipment, because it happens. You got 7,000 users, it happens. Someone broke into something, somebody lost something, whatever. I have to say, since we had the low jack, it's happened less frequently. But it happens, and so it has allowed us to be able to track and find those that equipment that was lost or stolen. So those are, from a security measures, those would probably be the biggest two. Of course, you'd need that private network if you're going to remote back into your desktop at work. If you're going to remote into something, you need that remote desktop. But I'd say the virus protection and low jack would probably be the biggest two things to make sure that it's on a laptop as you bring it home from the store.
Got you. That you know, and the virus protection now can cover the cell phones, because they're like mini computers as well. And I know that we use Norton, but we got a package where it covers my husband's, mine, my sister's. She happened to be in the house at the time, and but not just our laptops, but our phones. You know, so almost like a family package for the house to be able to cover that as well. Because I don't think we think about our phones as being those mini computers as well. I had a cousin to get hacked in her messages. Right. And they ended up taking kind of control of her phone and all of her data and all of that stuff. And it took her a while to kind of recover from that. But yeah, we got many computers in our hands, so I don't think we even think about that as well.
Right. You're absolutely right.
So I would say a lot of the things that you talked about would even go for those devices, tablets and phones and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Now, I cannot let you go without talking, because I want to know, number one, because you're a big advocate for women, minorities, and kids, you know, being introduced to tech, at a young age, but women and minorities getting into tech. Can you tell me a little bit just about that passion and where it came from?
Yes. So, wow. Yeah, it's been such a long time coming, but you know, being African-American female in IT for so long, you know, you see a lot of things, you hear a lot of things, you've experienced a lot of different things. And I didn't really have a mentor in my career. And the person that I did think of as a mentor, it just went total left. Whole story, another story, but it just went total left, and I learned a lot of different things that I thought were so wasn't. So it was a little devastating at that moment. But anyway, I learned that it would have been so much easier in my career to have someone to talk to, someone to ask questions to, and I needed guidance to. And so I definitely wanted to lend that to other young ladies within technology, and not just technology, within STEM period. And they're able to help them, and that they know that they're not in this by themselves. I like to be able to speak and talk to other young ladies from elementary to entrepreneurship, right? About the importance of technology, right? And how the jobs are just, everything is technology based now. Everything, McDonald's and kiosks, and it's everything is technology based. And so at some point you're going to have to face it with technology. So why not be a part of trying to improve on that? Why not be a part of trying to make that happen instead of using the apps? You're one of the ones that's actually creating the app, right? So and it's a very good money in this business. Okay, so, and it can be, especially if you put your mind to it. It's not necessarily a field that you have to have a degree. Certifications are just as important, in my line anyway, are just as important as degrees to a certain degree, and experience. I encourage people all the time, volunteer somewhere to get some information on your resume. And I noticed that there are the women and underrepresented are not as, we definitely, the numbers have improved, and there are more than what it had been a few years ago. But with the number of technology jobs that are available and are going to be available, we're not even touching it at all about where we could be. So I try to have these programs of where I try to introduce different careers and opportunities to show them, especially kids that may have never even thought about it before, that these are different opportunities in technology. And there's so many different flavors, right? So it's not that you have to be sitting behind a black screen and coding all day, right? There's a lot of different things. And because when I saw that, I knew that was not for me. I'm not a programmer, I'm not a coder. I don't want to sit behind this thing and plug in numbers and codes all day. And so I went into networking. And fixing PCs and computers and building servers and networking buildings together. So it was like, that was exciting for me. So there's so many different flavors of it. So I wanted to introduce the flavors, the different types of careers, project management, how to build a PC. So I had this group called Taste of Technology, and where it started with the program of bringing in different businesses and different IT professionals to actually come and talk to the kids. So we had like 6 or 7 different workshops on different things. Girls Who Code came in, and different entities that came in to talk to and teach the kids that this is just a piece of what it could be. We had IT professionals to be mentors to talk to the kids afterwards, because the other big thing is I attend a lot of these different things, and you help kids, and we have this computer education week, and you go in and you talk to kids, and you go and talk to them for a whole week, and they're interested and they're hyped and they're excited, and then it's over, and there's no way to keep up and keep track of what they're doing or what they may be interested in until next year, right? So I wanted to provide a place of where they could come, there's a way to keep going, right? So here are organizations that offer classes. Here is organizations that offer free training and can get you jobs. And so I kind of like bring those things together, get the kids, get the organizations, get the people, and kind of bring it together so that we can kind of learn from each other. So it's pretty exciting. So right now I have, I'm working on another one, the pandemic, the virus kind of put a halt on a lot of stuff, plans that we had. So I'm going to be considering doing something when school opens up next year, because I want to focus on the kids that the inner city kids that may not have been exposed to it before. I want to focus
Sure.
on areas of where it's not as IT, that I having an IT class is just like, gold to them because they've never had it before. So that's kind of the area that I really want to focus in for the most part. So it has been pretty exciting, but and it's also exciting to see the rewards of the kids and how excited they are about it when they start learning. So
Yeah.
I'm getting asked all the time, when is the next one? When is the next one? When is the next one? So the kids' excitement, and the parents' excitement as well. So I learned that, especially as kids are growing up, you gotta involve the parents, because the kids only can do but so much unless their parents are involved. So it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to trying to put the next one together sometime this fall when school opens back up.
Nice, nice. So you said that's Taste of Technology is the name
Yeah,
of that
that's the
project?
name of the program. And I also have the Facebook group Taste of Technology that I
Okay.
just kind of put things out for scholarships and grants and trainings and different conferences and words of encouragement, things of that nature, mostly around IT, some other stuff, but
Yeah.
95% is around technology, and a lot of different jobs that are available. People post jobs and looking for jobs, and I try to connect people to try to help them in their IT careers.
Got you. So let me just ask you this. This is exciting. I know that for sure to work with those that don't have those opportunities, you're creating opportunities for them to be able to, one, have opportunities past what they see every day, but more importantly, be able to leave a legacy. Because,
Yeah,
like you said,
absolutely.
when we talk about STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, those are all places that we don't see a lot of minorities, and we definitely don't see a lot of women.
Yeah.
As you said, it's improved, but we don't see a lot of women. I fall in, in the math part from financial, and just like you, we can go to conferences or be on calls, and we're the only one representing a whole lot of things.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
And
Yeah.
so, thank you. I want to say thank you for your commitment to the community, your commitment just as a leader, and your passion for the field. I have enjoyed this conversation.
Yes, me
I
too.
thank you for your knowledge. We can talk about this forever and go and
Right,
drill
right.
down and go into a lot of things. We've covered all the questions that people had that came
Okay.
in. We've covered through our conversation about the app locating the laptop. We talked about a LoJack, some type of LoJack app, or LoJack, and I guess there's different types that are out there, and it's just figuring
Yes.
out what works for you. The best way to protect your internet outside of the router security is virus protection. We talked about
Mm-hmm.
that. And then
Mm-hmm.
the best way to enter the IT field is, yes, there's not just coding and programming or help. There's all kinds of project management. You mentioned
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
various jobs, but also there's so much more just in that field when we talk about technology, IT, or even STEM all in itself. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much for your time, so much for just what you've given, to Maryland, I'm sure that that's impacted other states,
Yeah.
and other people in general. I've enjoyed, we're at the end. Let me just, to those of you who are watching, thank you for being with us today for day 2, Tech Tuesday, where I definitely learned. So I hope you definitely learned how to friend technology to live and grow. I want to say thank you to you, Kenyatta Powers, for just being with us. But more importantly, I want you to come back tomorrow as you're watching this, whether you're watching it live on a replay or someone just sent it to you. When we talked about those links, make sure
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a reputable link. But, I want you to come back tomorrow. We're talking about effective communication. We're having Helen Moses, who is a
Okay.
message and voice coach. She on a daily basis works with trauma victims who have lost their speech, helping them. She's a speech pathologist by trade, but she also goes in the boardroom and helps people with their message. so that people can
Mm-hmm.
understand and be able to not just have others understand it, but take action on it. So I'm excited
Oh,
about tomorrow. It's interesting, right, Kenyatta?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Kenyatta, have a wonderful, wonderful day and
You're
week.
welcome.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.